From its debut in 1992 to its latest mobile phone iteration in 2019, the Mario Kart series has solidified itself as one of the most popular party games in the world. With 6 Guinness World Records and over 100 million units sold franchise-wide, Nintendo's go-karting game has been enjoyed by kids, teens, and adults worldwide. But similar to another Nintendo Cinderella story, there's one game in the series that has an especially interesting competitive scene that is filled with advanced techniques, a constantly developing rule set, custom tracks, and an ever-growing community 12 years after its initial release. So sit down, dial back your clocks to 2008, and settle in for the story of Mario Kart Wii.
Yahoo! Come on! Oh yeah! Hey! Hey!
The 6th edition of the Mario Kart series was first made public at E3 2007, where Reggie Fils-Aimé, who was then the president of Nintendo of America, showcased gameplay of the game, along with the new Wii wheel that took advantage of the Nintendo Wii's motion control. When the game officially released, it made its way to almost every single household that had a TV and Wii console. The game offered many new features, including the aforementioned motion control, 12-player racing, and incorporated motorcycles for the first time. New characters were also added, and players were able to use custom Miis like Peter Griffin and Barack Obama, as well as the addition of new Nintendo characters like Funky Kong and Funky Kong. But the biggest draw for the game was its all-new online multiplayer system, as well as a ranking system for each game mode. Players were able to gain and lose points that accumulated to your versus or battle rating, and this rating system capped out at 9,999 points. This meant that the goal for many players was to reach that point cap. Not only that, but time trials records were also posted publicly, meaning that players could download replays and race against other time trial ghosts to compete for the fastest time in the world. Alongside all of this, there were a few dedicated players that took the game to the next level. Some used the Homebrew channel, a channel that allowed modders to add custom racetracks into the game, which split off into a new branch of the community. Once players found out how to customize not only the tracks, but the aesthetics of their characters, carts, and motorcycles, mod packs started to pop up everywhere. One specific mod pack, released by Mr. Bean 35000 VR, was called CTGP 2.8. First released in 2010, CTGP 2.8 was a custom map pack that allowed players to play on 32 new custom-made racetracks. Eventually, Mr. Bean and his new partner in crime, Chatters, were able to create and release CTGP Revolution, which, by 2012, had almost 200 new tracks, custom menus, and the biggest change that shocked the world, custom tracks worldwide, also known as CTWW. Previously, users with custom tracks had their Wiis frozen if the game chose a standard Mario Kart map. CTWW got rid of the headaches associated with modding Mario Kart, and allowed users to specifically search for other players with custom tracks on their Wiis. By 2014, CTGP Revolution hit version 1.03, adding features that at one point were thought impossible: LAN multiplayer, custom server support, new game modes, and a cheat protection system. The stage was set for a competitive scene to spring up around Mario Kart Wii, as anyone with a burning competitive spirit strove to be the best in the world. Even with Mario Kart 7 being released on the 3DS, many dedicated fans stuck with Mario Kart Wii because the community was so strong. But this unity would almost break as a new game came along. 2 years after the release of the Nintendo Wii U, in 2014, Nintendo unveiled the newest console game to the Mario Kart franchise, Mario Kart 8. The usual story would be how most people would move on to the new game while some would stay behind on Mario Kart Wii. Nintendo didn't only announce the newest Mario Kart game, they also announced the discontinuation of internet service for the Nintendo Wii. This meant that anyone who wanted to play Mario Kart Wii with other people would have to do so in person. There would be no more worldwide ranking system, and there would be no more time trials lovers downloading replays and being able to compete. The end was near for the Mario Kart Wii community. Or was it? Going back to 2012, a German Mario Kart fan named Wiimmfi decided to analyze the network protocol for Mario Kart Wii. The initial intention of doing this was to detect cheaters in the game, as Mario Kart Wii was known to have people ruining the game with hacks that gave them an unfair advantage. Over time, Wiimmfi also developed an analytical tool that could track other players' rankings and racing data. So when Wiimmfi heard about the discontinuation of the Wii's online servers, he dumped everything he was doing and went straight to work on making his own online server. With 3 months of hard work and commitment, Wiimmfi was able to make a beta server and invited several testers to try it out. He officially named his server Wiimmfi, kind of like Wi-Fi, but Wiimmfi. You get it. Since Wiimmfi was a Mario Kart fan, he used Mario Kart Wii exclusively when testing his servers. So, when Wiimmfi released his server to the public 10 days before Nintendo's servers shut down, most games didn't fully work on Wiimmfi's server. Mario Kart was the only one that got a game-specific patch. But as months went on, Wiimmfi slowly started to release more patches for different games. When the servers were released to the public, people started playing on it, and with most people playing on CTGP Revolution anyways, the combination of custom mods and custom servers would eventually become the most efficient way to play Mario Kart Wii today. Even with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe out on the Nintendo Switch, players all around the world are still playing on their Wiis that came out over 10 years ago. So let's talk about Mario Kart Wii a little bit. People have stuck with the game, but we never really explained the reason why. Why is Mario Kart Wii so damn good?
Give the amount of control that Mario Kart Wii does with the inside drifting bikes, and the shortcuts are really crazy, some of the craziest of any of the Mario Kart games in the whole series. And then I really like how the item system works. I like how there's only one shock that can be in play, one blue shell, one bullet bill. I'm just a huge fan of everything regarding the game's mechanics and the physics. And nowadays, when they made the newer games, Mario Kart 7, 8, 8 Deluxe, they took out a lot of the things I enjoyed in Mario Kart Wii, like the inside drifting bikes and the wheelies and the ability to control your vehicle in the air and a lot of the crazy gap jump shortcuts. Like, none of that is there anymore.
Similar to Super Smash Bros. Melee, Mario Kart Wii also has advanced techniques and mechanics that increase the skill cap of the game.
Speed preservation is basically drifting and using that mini turbo to go into the wheelie compared to going from a straight into a wheelie. When you go from a mini turbo into a wheelie, it keeps your wheelie speed at 97 km/h for the flame water. Compare that to the normal speed, which is 84 km/h, and climbing up to 97, and then it drops back down every time the wheelie drops.
And there are a whole lot more, as Arc Intel has uploaded tons of other guides that go over the mechanics and nuances of ways that you can improve your Mario Kart Wii play. The best competitive way to play is through Mogiland, a community-run ranking system that started just over a year ago. Users have to go through a verification process that's overlooked by administrators. It has an ELO system that's moderated by staff, and the scene is still growing, with over 3,000 players playing today. Another way to compete is through clan battles. Similar to other esports titles, you can participate and join a clan in Mario Kart Wii and play team races. There are many ways to participate in clan wars, with the most common being 5v5s and 6v6s. Aside from ranked, the time trials community is also still thriving. Constantly looking for new shortcuts, building new routes, and perfecting drifts to scrape off milliseconds from their time, speedrunning Mario Kart Wii is as deep and rewarding as it's ever been. Modders have also implemented new changes that further challenge players to test themselves.
There's a new game mode being worked on as well called online time trial, where basically you start where the collision of players are disabled, and you have 3 mushrooms, you spawn, and you basically do a one single time trial attempt, and you see, who is the most consistent, who can hit the best time. So I could go on for forever. There's just so many awesome things in the works, and so many facets to make our game enjoyable and thrive for the long term.
And on top of all of this, Mario Kart Wii just had their biggest offline tournament in North America last year. Exalt 2019 was held in New York and hosted over 100 players. Cash prizes and trophies were handed to winners as big names went out to compete. Apart from LAN events, an organization called New Leaf Esports also holds online events for Mario Kart Wii.
With Mario Kart Wii, we've far more focused on the pay-to-play side of it. We want to kind of expand that really competitive side of it. And we usually get about 48 entrants to our tournaments with very little prize money and very little cost entry. So
Mario Kart Wii's community is constantly growing and has new players joining each year. It's a surprise to see the game this big, as it was supposed to be left in the dust when Nintendo pulled the plug. When you have a dedicated community, they'll do anything to keep their favorite game alive. The question now is how big Mario Kart Wii can get in terms of esports.
A couple years from now, you'll see more of these tournaments popping up, and there'll be some sort of in real life scene for the game like Melee has had for years. And I really look forward to that, because Melee went from having a bunch of in real life tournaments all over the place at like college campuses. People would host them out of their garages, and then all of a sudden they were filling up stadiums, you know, at tournaments like Evo and Genesis and the Big House. So it's like that was incredible to watch. Mario Kart Wii is, you know, not nearly there yet where Melee has gone, but, you know, I mean, hey, who knows? It's kind of like a thing where it's like one step at a time, you know?
There's a lot of hope for Mario Kart Wii. Not only does the scene have a strong and dedicated community, but the numbers reflect that as well. Around 500 players log into Wiimmfi daily to play Mario Kart. If the game is interesting and the fanbase keeps growing, we might just have another Nintendo Cinderella story on our hands.